Hello and welcome to today's webinar where we are joined by Kyle Lasota, who is going to be talking to us about resetting your sleep in 7 days and unlocking unparalleled energy and performance. So it's something a little bit different for you guys today, but equally taking care of you is so important. Kyle is a YouTube creator turned biohacker who uses his creative talent as a videographer to help spread awareness and help people be focused on sleep. So if you have any questions for Kyle as we go along, please do pop them in the comment box. Verified certificates will also be available. The link for them will be in the comment box today. As you can see, we are without our Webinar Wednesday set up today, as it is a Thursday, so we're on a slightly different day today. So let's welcome Kyle on.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks, Leanne.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I will hand it over to you and I will be back at the end with some questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Let me just pull up my screen here and we can just jump right into the presentation. Excuse me. Let's get it going here. Okay, so I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. It's such an honor to be sharing this information, as you know, sleep is just such an important aspect of life. If you're struggling with your sleep, or if you've ever struggled with your sleep, you'll know that it's a pretty big deal. And you know, when we're looking at optimizing our health or starting to put in better self-care practices, let's just start with the basics, and sleep being the foundation by which everything else is built on. So the title of this presentation is Reset Your Sleep in 7 Days and Unlock Unparalleled Energy and Performance. So if you stay to the end, you'll learn the secret supplement that literally doubled my deep sleep. And no, it's not melatonin. You can see a snapshot from my Aura Ring stats over here, 3 hours and 17 minutes of deep sleep. It's pretty crazy. That's not very normal. If you know anything about the Aura Ring or tracking your sleep, or anything about sleep tracking, you know that this is pretty amazing stats right here. So who am I? I'm a video marketer, biohacker, lifestyle enthusiast, and I've helped hundreds of people with their sleep. And I'm just a guy who wanted to feel better, who wanted to have more energy. I've spent over $150,000 on my health in the last couple of years, and I was recently featured in Thrive Global, Ariana Huffington's publication, for my work on sleep. And this is what my life looked like before. You know, I was a very well-known, sought-after videographer. I was traveling the world, working with great clients, going to amazing places, and really, from the outside, everything looked incredible. Only I was silently suffering. I was stressed. I was having issues with my energy. I was having digestive issues, emotional issues, suffering from chronic pain. It was affecting my business, it was affecting my relationships, and it was affecting every area of my life. And I really didn't know why I was feeling that way. And it wasn't until later that I really found out. But I was at a mastermind and with this guy named Sam Ovens, and what he said to me really changed everything. He owns a company called consulting.com, and I was at one of his masterminds. And he says, if you can't go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, how can you expect to do anything great in this world? And that's a bit of an oversimplification, but when he said it, it really penetrated my spirit, and it really rang true, and it really made a lot of sense to me. And I hope it makes a lot of sense to you. You know, we spent basically half a day at this mastermind talking about sleep optimization, this new idea, right? And this is a mastermind people pay $36,000 to be a part of, right? So very high level mastermind. And here we are just talking about sleep optimization. So I want to introduce this new idea to you, sleep optimization, as the one thing that if you master it will affect every other area of your life, okay? And I went on a journey after that mastermind to study what are the top athletes, the top entrepreneurs, the top high performers, what are they doing? What are their patterns? And I invested lots of money, and I've tested so many different things, and I've experimented on myself, and I've put myself through the ringer. And I have figured I figured some stuff out. And over the course of that time, I started to get really, really good results with my sleep. And I'm like, I wonder if this could be replicated. And I started to share it with people. And I started to give advice to others, and I started to help them. And they started to get the same results. And I realized that there is a system here. What I was doing, it could be repeated, it could be duplicated, and I could get these types of results with other people, meaning that there was principles at play. And once you figure this out, it's like the unfair advantage. It's the best kept secret of all the elite performers. You're not going to have to take any nootropics. You're not going to have to worry about coffee. This is like literally the real limitless pill. And once you unlock it, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Once you see what I've seen, you'll understand this unfair advantage. And because of my sleep, I was able to have steady, stable energy throughout the day with no afternoon dip. I was happy for no reason. I felt resilient to stress. I had this ability to make ninja decision making. You know, like I was on a partnership call and I just heard something in the language of this guy who I was speaking with that he wanted to work at a deeper level. And it was an opportunity to turn into a sales call, not just a partnership call. And so I prompted him with a question, but I only had that awareness because my cognition was so dialed in from the stuff that I was doing with my sleep. It increased my body's ability to recover, and it boosted my sex drive. And I started to live with more peace and presence. And this is the best thing that you can do to improve your energy and performance. And there's a reason why all the top performers in the world really focus on their sleep and they take it really seriously. LeBron James says, LeBron James gets a mandatory of 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, and sometimes a nap in the afternoon. And Jeff Bezos has been known to just take his time, you know, going to bed at the right time, but then taking his time in the morning, not waking up to an alarm clock, and puttering through his day in the morning until it's time for those productive hours. Roger Federer, the best tennis player of all time, sleeps 11 to 12 hours a day. And if he doesn't sleep that much, he says it's not right, right? But that doesn't mean you have to sleep 11 to 12 hours a day. You're not like the best athlete in the world. So that's not necessary, but there are principles and there are ideas here at play. And so what I really want to impress upon you is how big of a deal this can be. And why sleep, out of all the things that we could choose to optimize when starting to work on our well-being, is we spend a third of our life doing it. It's the easiest and the cheapest to optimize, and it impacts every other facet of our health. There's a connection to your blood sugar management. There's a connection to your hormones, connection to your cognitive function, your resilience, your energy, and there's a reason why sleep deprivation is a form of torture. And from the book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, here's a quote: just one night of only 4 or 5 hours of sleep can kill your natural killer cells, the ones that attack cancer cells that appear in your body every single day, drop by 70%, right? This is a big deal. So don't underestimate sleep. A lack of sleep also appears to hijack the body's effective control of blood sugar, and thus causing a pre-diabetic state of hyperglycemia. When your sleep becomes short, you are susceptible to weight gain. So it's attached not only to our immune system, but also to our blood sugar, right? And then if that wasn't enough, sleep has here we go, another immune system, right? Which is why when we have the flu, our first instinct is to go to bed. Our body is trying to sleep itself well. Reduce sleep even for a night, and your resilience is drastically reduced. If you are tired, you are more likely to catch a cold. The well-rested also respond better to the flu vaccine. Seems relevant or important right now, regardless of how you feel about the current circumstances of the world. Getting good sleep is definitely going to help in every direction, okay? And there's a shift happening in culture, I believe. There's a wellness renaissance taking place where it's now becoming cool to be healthy and to live well and to take care of yourself. And I want to invite you into this new paradigm, into this new ideology, this new way of living, because the days of hustle and grind and burning the candle at both ends are coming to an end, and it's not cool. It's not sexy, and it is going to make you worse at what you do. You know, if you're working with these dogs and you're working with their owners and you're working at creating the best possible experience for your clients, your customers, you need to be at your best. you need to be at your best, and you need to be able to respond and not react, and that's what sleep is going to help you do. So in this presentation, we're going to talk about the 3 lessons, okay? Number 1 is how to reset your circadian rhythm. Number 2 is how to build a sleep oasis. And number 3 is going to be creating custom sensory anchors, and we're going to get into what that actually means in a little bit here, okay? I want you to meet Devere. Devere is a client of mine. He says, I'm REM deficient and I have Alzheimer's in my family, so doubling my REM is very important to me. He came to me because he was struggling with his REM sleep, right? Literally 7 days later, he sent me a message. He said, I already did it, went from 30 minutes of REM to 70. That's insane. So the stuff that I'm about to share with you really, really works, and it can work really fast. So speaking of fast, let's talk about the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm is the internal clock inside your body. It's what wakes you up and gets you ready for bed. It's the mechanisms that drive your sleep patterns. And the way that we can set our circadian rhythm when we wake up and when we go to bed is through 3 factors, which is light exposure, movement, and the feed fast window. Okay, so let's talk about light exposure first. Light exposure is when you wake up, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go outside and expose your body to some sunlight. Now, because you guys probably mostly live in the UK, there's no such thing as sunlight, so you might want to go outside anyway, and even though it's cloudy or it's overcast, you'll still get that sunlight. It comes through the clouds, and you need it even more because you live in the area that you live in if you live in the UK. And if you can't, if it's so dark and you're waking up really early and there's no sun out, then I'd encourage you to look into buying a red light therapy device or some type of light therapy device that mimics the sunlight, because what that does is it tells your body to produce this chemical called cortisol, right, which wakes you up in the morning. Melatonin is the chemical that puts you to sleep at night. And so we're balancing these 2 hormones, cortisol and melatonin, and we're using light to signal to our body, hey, it's time to produce these hormones, which in turn affect a bunch of other biological mechanisms down the line. So first thing in the morning, we're going to wake up, we're going to get some sun, and then next thing is we're going to go for a little walk, or we're going to do some gentle movement, whether it's yoga or go for a jog or something, just to influence our physiology to say, hey, it's time to be awake. Hey, it's time to get the day started. This also tells our body, hey, it's time to turn on. It's time to switch on. It's time to be alert. It's time to wake up, right? Now, when the sun goes down, we want to eliminate blue light, right? So there is blue light in the overhead lights. There's blue light from our computers. There's blue light from our phones. There is blue light all around us because we live in an industrial world. We live in a modern society, right? This blue light right here, right? The light that's coming from your computer is hitting your retina, and it's telling your body that, hey, it's still daytime. So if you're exposing your body to blue light while it's night, then what you're doing is you're telling your body, hey, it's still time to be awake. So your brain will not produce that melatonin because the blue light is saying, hey, it's daytime. So that is why I wear blue light blocking glasses like these for the screen, just so it doesn't harm my eyes. But then at nighttime, I put on dark yellow or orange blue light blocking glasses to block out any light that may be coming from the lights in the house or from a screen. And that signals to my body, hey, it's time to get ready for bed. It's time to produce melatonin, right? Next is the feed fast window. So this is like all about when we eat and how we eat. So what you can do, always speak with a doctor before you make any changes to your health. Quick disclaimer here, right? And be aware that not everyone should do a fast, but if you're able to and you feel that it's within reason for you to do this, and you speak with a medical professional about doing it before you do it, you can do a 24-hour fast. And then let's say you have dinner at 6 o'clock, and then you fast all the way to the next day at 6 o'clock. And you can drink water during that time, just a water fast. You don't have to go dry fast. What that does is it's going to give your body a hard reset. And you program the time that you eat. So it's like dinner is at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 6. Then the following day, you're going to program the time that you want to have breakfast. So let's say you want to have breakfast at 8 or 8:30. And then you want to have lunch at 11 or 11:30 or 12. And then you want to have dinners, same time, 5:30, 6 o'clock. What that does is it's going to create a rhythm in your body of, hey, it's time to produce hormones and it's time to produce chemicals at this time. It's time to digest food at this time. It's time to use the restroom at this time. And our body, it loves to be in a rhythm. And so by using light exposure, by using movement, and by using our feed fast window, we can start to regulate our own rhythm internally, right? And so with your feed fast window, if you don't feel comfortable doing a 24-hour fast, then you could do a little intermittent fast. And if you don't feel comfortable doing an intermittent fast, then you could do just your meal timing. And you can just set the time that you're going to eat. And it's really important that you allow some time in between those meals, not only for your food to digest, but so your blood sugar can stabilize. This will help you sleep better in the long term. So a lot of people focus on how to go to sleep, but I actually believe that how we wake up is maybe even more important than how we go to sleep. So just to recap, when we wake up, we want to go outside, expose our body to some sunlight, and then we want to get some movement in, and then we want to program our meal timing. If we do those three things, we're going to greatly influence our circadian rhythm, which is going to regulate the two chemicals, cortisol and melatonin, to help us go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time. And once we get into a rhythm, everything is going to start to stabilize, everything's going to start to normalize, and we're going to start to have predictability in the chemicals within our body, which is going to dramatically impact the quality of our sleep. So here's the biggest problem that I see when people start optimizing their sleep. It's the phone. The phone is a beautiful thing and allows for us to do many things, and it is an incredibly powerful device. However, the reason why it's the biggest problem for optimizing our sleep is, number one, it's constantly emitting blue light, that damaging light that we talked about that can disrupt your melatonin. It's very stimulating, and it's releasing dopamine and different chemicals when we get these notifications, right? And it puts us into a little bit of a fight or flight response. And then it really is a big distraction, and it gets in the way of other wind down activities that could give us a really great night's sleep. So because this is such a problem, I created a free resource, and it's on my YouTube channel. You can just go to youtube.com/KyleGotCamera, and I made this video called How to Make Your iPhone Screen Red. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to try to show it to you. If I triple click the home button, I can just change my screen to red like that. And this is really great for a lot of reasons. It sucks all the blue light out of your phone, so then you're not being disrupted, or your chemicals aren't being disrupted in that way. But then also, when your phone looks like this, you don't want to spend time on it. And so you end up putting your phone away a lot earlier. And if you implement this, if you have an iPhone, I would implement this immediately. If you have a Droid or some type of other, like Samsung or something, I'm sure you can find a video that instructs you on how to do this. But I would do this. Is free. Totally just get it done right now. Bookmark it. Do whatever you have to do. And change this. This will change everything for you. This one hack alone will make a huge difference in the quality of your sleep, because you're just going to start winding down for bed a lot earlier, and you're not going to be stimulated. So this is Alexander, and he is another client of mine. And he said the first month that I started to apply the principles that I teach, he had a $30,000 month, and he shifted nothing but his sleep. That's how big of an impact working on your sleep can really have, because it influences everything else. This is Zach, who he was really struggling with some health stuff, and he came to me and he's like, dude, like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, man, just like work with your doctor and whatever, but like get started on this sleep stuff, because it's going to undermine everything you do if you're not getting good sleep. And he said, I started with 49 to 50 sleep scores. And if you don't know what that means, that's like 3 to 4 hours a night is really, really bad. And through following you, I'm now at high 70s, low 80s on average, which is just incredible. It makes my heart really full. And this is Kristen. She says, I feel on top of the world, perfectly well rested. I have so much more steady energy, reminding me that you truly cannot be at your best if you are not sleeping well. Big facts. So I want to tell you about my old relationship with my bedroom. This used to be how I lived my life. This is how I worked. I would just, I was traveling a lot, working a laptop lifestyle, and I just didn't understand good sleep hygiene. And I remember I went to this one doctor, and I walked into her room or into her office, and she had this very like tranquil sort of setup. She had like a diffuser and nice like Chinese like medicine music in the background, and it was very relaxing and soothing. And when I sat down with her and when I had my initial consult, we talked through a lot of stuff, and she said, tell me about your life. Tell me about your habits. Tell me about your bedroom and your sleep. Like, what's going on with that? And I basically told her this is how I lived and this is how I worked. And she was like, okay, none of this. You can't be doing this anymore. You have to establish some boundaries when it comes to the bedroom, and you're not allowed to work in the bedroom anymore. And that should be a sanctuary, should be a place that you retreat to. And that idea really stuck with me. And I eventually went on to create an amazing bedroom. This isn't my bedroom, but I started building my bedroom in a way that influenced me. And I came up with this idea called building a sleep oasis. And your environment, it influences how you feel. And you can manufacture the energy of a room. If you think about when you walk into a spa or a nice hotel or a restaurant, there's a vibe that you feel. You're like, wow, like this place is really bougie, or this place is really nice, or this place is really swank, or or this place is really relaxing. And that was all started with an idea of like, how do we want people to feel when they enter into this space? So we want to intentionally create a relaxing, sleep-inducing energy to the bedroom. Okay, so what makes a good sleep oasis? Number one, it's quiet. Number two, it's dark. Number three, it's relaxing. Number four, you feel safe. Number five, it's cool. So let's talk about these. Let's break these out a little bit. So quiet, if you live in a very noisy place in the heart of the city, and there's always like ambulances and loud noises and street noise, that can disturb you and that can wake you up. And that's going to disrupt your sleep. And not so dissimilar to what we talked about earlier with light, even if there's like moonlight or street lights or lights from the outlet, that stuff disrupts your sleep as well. Relaxing. If you're not relaxed, to fall asleep in a place that you don't feel safe, right? So if you're struggling with the relaxing and safe, I encourage you to look into, getting some candles, getting a lavender diffuser, or getting a weighted blanket, and doing whatever you can do to cultivate an energy of safety and relaxation. And then number five is cool. One of the biggest influences in our sleep quality is going to be our core body temperature. So if you're have an AC unit, set it to like 68, 69 is usually a good temperature for most. And then, you could also look into getting like a chili pad or an 8 sleep pad, which is like a cooling jet that goes underneath your sheets. That will help you keep cool during the night, because if you get hot, your core body temperature comes up. It's going to be hard to stay asleep throughout the night. So I want you to take a second right now. We're going to pause the presentation, and I want you to write down, take out a pen or paper, or take out your phone and open up the notes or open up a doc on your computer, wherever you are. And I want you to write down, what do you need to change in your bedroom? What is going to be best for you? If you're in your bedroom right now, look around, check it out, see what you like, see what you don't like, what's sticking out to you. Out of all these 5 things, what's the most important or the biggest factor, lowest hanging fruit that you could go after. And I just want you to think about what would really make a really great sleep oasis for you, and what could you add or subtract. And we can talk about those at the end in the Q&A. So if you have any questions around that, bring it up in the Q&A. So here's the third part: creating sensory anchors. All right. So if you're familiar with Pavlov and his classic conditioning, where he had this dog and he would put food out, he'd ring the bell when it was time to eat, and the dog would come out and would start eating. And he would ring the bell, dog would come out, start eating, ring the bell, dog would come out, and it would start eating. Finally, he rang the bell, but he didn't put the food out, and the dog would come out, and the dog was salivating. This is creating an anchor, right? We want to use our senses to create anchors that tell us it's time to get ready for bed. So what that looks like for me is like having some red lights in my bedroom. I use like Himalayan pink salt lamps, or you can buy some red light bulbs. That's diffusing some essential oils. That's having a mindfulness practice. I'm currently, my ritual right now is I'm doing meditation. I'm also taking a little bit of CBD, and I am doing a little bit of nose breathing, and I'm listening to a little sleep hypnosis track, which we can talk about later as well. So I do like 4 things. I also take a shower, right? So I clean myself, I clear my mind, I take a little relaxation sort of, hold on one second. Let me just put this aside. So I have a little ritual. It's like 5 things. And when I do these 5 things, by the time I get into bed, it's like, boom, I'm ready to fall asleep. I really encourage you to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 of these things, whether it's reading or whether like reading a story, not a personal development book, and going analog. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it is doing some gentle movements, some breath work, but creating a little just ritual, a sleep ritual. You know, if you think about when you were a kid, maybe this was the case for you, maybe it wasn't, but I don't know about you. My mom used to read books to me. You know, she used to read me to sleep. You know, so I get in the bath with my brother, we'd wash off, then we'd put our jammies on, we'd get into bed, and my mom would read to us, and then we'd fall asleep. That's a ritual, right? It's a ritual that primed me for sleep. And I don't know what it is about being an adult, but at some point, a lot of us, we just lose these rituals. And that's not to, try to make you wrong or call you out. It's just, do you have any rituals? And how can you use your senses to anchor those rituals into, hey, it's time to get ready for bed in a healthy way, right? Not, I'm going to have a glass of wine before bed. That's not a healthy ritual for good sleep habits. Okay. All right. So here's what people get wrong about the evening routine. It's not about what you do. It's about what you don't do, right? So before you start adding in all these different things, I want to give you results via negativa, means results by taking things away, okay? By removing, results via removal. So the lowest hanging fruit is not having a late dinner. I recommend 2 hours plus. Give yourself that space between dinner and bedtime. So if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, don't eat before 8 or after 8. If you go to bed at 9, don't eat after 7. Next thing is going to be no blue light. So it means like getting rid of the blue lights in your room, replacing them with red bulbs or Himalayan salt lamps, and buying some blue light blocking glasses. That means no substances, right? So, unfortunately, alcohol, weed, caffeine, stimulants, all these things, they really disrupt our sleep. And, this is a big one. I know you Brits, you really like your tea, you really like your coffee. If you can avoid having caffeine if you can avoid having caffeine before noon, it's going to make a big change in your sleep and the quality of your life. Here's the reason why. Caffeine has a half-life of 8 hours in your body. So if you drink coffee at noon, half of that caffeine will still be in your body at 8 p.m. That's going to really disrupt things. So I would invite you into the possibility. I would invite you and encourage you to consider maybe changing the habits there. But before you get all up in arms with me and I'm like the no guy, like no alcohol, no, I just want you to think about this. You won't need the caffeine or the stimulants if you do these things, right? Like you're going to have so much energy, you're just going to be flying through your days, I promise you, especially if you haven't been sleeping well for a long time. Here's the truth about sleep, all right? Getting great sleep is simple. It's a system. Inputs, right, being the things that we do, the habits, the rituals, and our environment, and the device or the system being our body or ourselves, our mindset, and then the outputs is getting great sleep. So if we change these inputs and put those into our body, then we are going to get a different output. It's really, really that simple, and you don't need to make it more complex than that. This is it, okay? If you focus on this, you will get this. This is Savannah. She says, in just a couple of weeks, I've been able to completely change the quality of my sleep. I feel more energized, focused, and productive than I have in years. This is a skill set. This is why I named the presentation How to Reset Your Sleep in 7 Days, right? You reset your circadian rhythm. You change your environment, you build that sleep oasis, you create these anchors. Once you have this skill set and you have this environment, it never leaves you, right? So this is screenshots from my Aura Ring last summer. So I went to a retreat. Let's just say I had a big night, 3 hours and 2 minutes of sleep. Literally 6 minutes of REM sleep, which is like, I don't even know how that's possible. 32 minutes of deep sleep, really, really bad. I didn't sleep at all this night. But I knew that going into it. I had a plan. 7 days later, June 8th, I'm back on top of my sleep. Great sleep, 2 hours of REM sleep, 2.5 hours of deep sleep, just winning, right? All I did was apply the things that I just shared with you in this presentation to get this result. And these are 7 days apart. You can do this too, I promise you. I want to collapse time, right? And you can do that by working with experts. You can do that by learning from people who've already walked the path. So the reason why I was having a lot of health issues that I didn't know is that I had a mold infection and it triggered an autoimmune in my thyroid, which I'm still working on. And I got COVID a couple months later, which made this really bad. But because I have this skill set that I have, I've been able to manage things and not go completely off the rails. Because these people are the coaches that I work with. They helped identify that not only did I have a mold infection, but also that I had autoimmune condition within a year of working with them. I went 7 years undiagnosed with both of those factors. And within a month, they found the mold infection. And within a year, they found the autoimmune. I'm so grateful to these two people. And I share what I share with you because you don't have to guess about this stuff. This stuff works, and it works really, really well. And I am a walking testament to it. My sleep isn't perfect all the time. I'm not going to claim to say like I don't have bad nights, but I have this skill set. And when I want to get a good night of sleep, I know how to do it. And that is worth its weight in gold. And there's a day that I got perfect sleep, and it was really incredible. And it's everything that you just learned that's available to you. And there's no more band-aids. Let's get to the root and let's really conquer this. And if you master this part of your life, it's gonna influence everything else in such a beautiful way you can't even begin to imagine. So if we recap, we're going to talk about how to reset your circadian rhythm, right? The 3 factors, which are light exposure, movement, feed fast window. We're going to talk about building a sleep oasis, right? Something that is quiet, it's dark, it's relaxing, it's safe, and it's cold or it's cool, right? And then creating custom sensory anchors. These are anchors that are triggers that get you ready for sleep. They prime you, tell your body, hey, it's time to get ready for bed, right? And as I said before, I wasn't going to hold out on you. This is the secret supplement that I use to double my deep sleep. Magnesium glycinate. The dosage is 200 to 400 milligrams. Always check with your healthcare provider before changing anything. Obviously, disclaimer again, but this is the supplement that really moves the needle in terms of deep sleep. So if you want to check that out or find a good magnesium glycinate supplement, something that's clean, then that will be a big game changer for a lot of people. And not all magnesium is created the same. You have to get the glycinate one. This is the most bioavailable form, and it's the best form for sleep. So quick little buyer's guide, things that you should think about investing. Definitely an Oura ring so you can track your sleep. It's a sleep tracker, just goes on your ring finger and it syncs to an app. It's incredible. I love it. Some blackout shades so you can get your room as dark as possible. Himalayan salt lamps for the vibe and for the blue light, as well as the red light bulbs. A diffuser to help relax you and trigger that, hey, it's time to get ready for bed. A weighted blanket, a HEPA air filter. If you have problems with mold, if you have problems with allergies or dog hair or dust, this is a really big deal. Don't underestimate the severity of how important this can be. And then if you're needing to cool yourself at night, check out the 8 sleep mattress or the chili pad cooling system, and then a pair of blue light blocking glasses. These are some good things to start out with and will make a big difference in your quality of sleep and quality of life. So that's it for the presentation. And yeah, if you want to go deeper, those are my links to, this is to my course and this is to my one-on-one coaching, but that is all I got for now.
Thank you ever so much, Kyle. So we've got some questions for you. So Marianne, she struggles getting into sleeping, eating and waking up patterns due to being a shift worker. Have you got any guidance or advice as to how she can settle her body better into a routine?
So she works at different shifts? Is that what she said?
Sometimes nights, sometimes early mornings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so you're really at that point you're kind of I would highly encourage you to find something that will be consistent, because we could try to hack like how to like get ready for sleep quickly and fall asleep, and I can give you some advice on that, but like it's kind of like a band-aid solution to a much bigger problem, which is like the situation with your career, the situation with your job. Like I understand that I don't have full context, but I just really, really encourage you for your long-term health to find something that can be consistent and you can wake up and go to bed at the same time. Is a huge, huge component that's going to undermine everything that you're trying to do as far as your sleep goes. So there's plenty of opportunity available, and there's plenty of things that you can find online even, so that you don't even have to like go somewhere if you want. So that would be piece number one. Piece number two is I would pick like 3 little rituals that you can use to basically get ready for bed. So whether that's meditation or breath work, I like nose breathing. So in through the nose, 4 count, out through the nose, 6 count, put you into a parasympathetic state and help lull you into bed. 90 minutes before bed, I would put on some blue light blocking glasses, some orange ones, not like the clear ones, the orange ones. That will tell your body, hey, it's time to start producing melatonin. And then also supplement with some of that magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams. You'll have to test it out.
Yeah.
And that would be a great place to start. And as long as your room, wherever you're sleeping, is cool, dark, safe, and relaxing, then limit the blue light, then you're going to be in a much better place. So I think blue light, magnesium, and breath work or meditation, some type of ritual to help wind you down is going to be huge.
Fab, thank you. Lorraine said, how often do you recommend fasting for 24 hours?
I would say you should only have to do it once, and if it's different for different people. It depends on what's going on with your health. Depends on how stressed you are. If you're a really stressed person, I recommend you don't fast. It's going to put even more stress on your system. I would just stick with the meal timing if that's the case. But yeah, you should be able to do it once, and you should be able to lock in your rhythm as long as you stay consistent with your bed and wake time and meal timing.
Okay. Anna said you mentioned weighted blankets, which seems to be all the rage currently. Do they help?
I like them. I sleep with a weighted blanket. I do feel they make me feel safe, feel hugged, feel like soothed. So if you struggle with stress or anxiety, I think it's definitely a good call.
Perfect. This one's from me. So personally, I read books every night before going to bed. But I read books on my phone. Is that counterproductive with the phone lights and things like that?
Yes. I would get I would get like the non-light, like Kindle thing, or I would get a physical copy.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Regina has said, would having a cold shower not raise your heart rate and make you more awake?
Yeah, so this one is definitely up for debate. Cold showers can be used to wake you up, but because it brings down your core body temperature, so the way that it works is like when it got colder at night, when we were like cavemen, right? Like that would signal to our body that, hey, it's time to like get ready, go into the cave. It's time to go to sleep, right? So if you can find other ways of cooling yourself down at nighttime, then you could do that as well. But it also depends, again, like hormonally, especially with like women who are more sensitive to the cold, then you may not want to do that, right? That may be impacting you negatively. In Chinese medicine, they talk about being, warm is like a state of health, right? And that's why I drink like warm water, right? Or hot water and hot tea and stuff like that. So what you could do is, because the problem is when you take a hot shower before bed, it raises your core body temperature, which is going to make it harder for you to stay asleep during the night. And so if you're going to shower at nighttime, you can shower and then maybe go outside and stand outside and do like a little walking meditation, or just like get some fresh air and allow your core body temperature to cool down before getting into bed and like getting ready for sleep. That way your core body temperature is going to come down. Or you just crank the AC if you live in a place that has AC, and then have a chili pad or a sleep mattress to make sure you're staying cool at night.
Because there's some countries out there which put the babies outside in the snow to sleep, don't they? They put the babies outside whilst in their buggies and put them to sleep for their naps outside. So that makes perfect sense why they do it.
Yeah.
So a question from Ben: how much REM sleep do you recommend trying to get?
90 minutes. 90 minutes to 2 hours is good.
Okay. And another question from Tony: is sleep efficiency the scores he was referring to, or was it on the other one with the Oura ring?
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
No, that's fine. Actually, I've got a question here about the Oura ring. So Sarah's asking, what is an Oura ring in the first place?
So this is the Oura ring right here. And it is a sleep tracker. It's a little wearable device. It has sensors on the inside of the ring that measure your sleep. They measure your heart rate variability, your body temperature, your activity, kind of like a Fitbit, except it's on your finger. Okay. And it's focused more on
sleep. Are they more reliable?
Say what?
Are they more reliable? Because I do it on my watch, as you just said, yes. But I find that it doesn't track when I'm awake.
Yeah, it's definitely more reliable. I mean, nothing's perfect yet. They're still working on the technology a lot, but Oura Ring has been my favorite sleep tracker so far. I had an Apple Watch, or I have an Apple Watch, and I test out their sleep stuff, and to me it sucks.
Okay. Well, thank you ever so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate your time and everything that you've given us as well. I know I'll be making a few changes myself. So thank you for your time and your knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity. I'm so happy to share this information with all of you. And thank you for giving me your time and your presence and your attention. It's the most valuable thing.
Before you go, if you could just again let people know how they can get a hold of you if needs be, where they can find you at.
Sure. So this sleepadvantage.co is you can get access to the course, or the sleepadvantage.co/coaching if you want to go deeper and like work with me one-on-one.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye now.
Bye. So I hope that you guys were able to get something from that. Massive thank you to Kyle Lasota for being here with us this evening. I feel kind of called out on a lot of the things, I must admit. I am a massive tea drinker. I do snack late at night, and I'm sure some of you guys felt that as well. But if you enjoyed this week's webinar, be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified for future live streams. If you would like a certificate for this week's webinar, Tony's going to pop that in the comments for you guys. So we'll be back again as normal next Wednesday at the normal time of 7:30 p.m. BST, where we will be joined by John Davison, where he'll be talking about quadrants. It's titled All for Quadrant's Sake. So we'll see you then.